Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to our hadith class. We are doing the kitab known as Riyaadhus Saaliheen of Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah, and tonight we are continuing on still with the chapter of Muraqabah, which translated vaguely to watchfulness, but like I explained it in last week's class, a more detailed version of what exactly Muraqabah is. But we are continuing on from that chapter tonight, inshallah ta'ala. We have done 3 hadith from the chapter last week, so tonight, inshallah, we are starting from the 4th hadith. So without further delay, let's begin. Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. So the first hadith, which is hadith number 63, الرابع عن أنس رضي الله عنه قال إنكم لتعملون أعمالا هي أدق في أعينكم من الشعر كنا نعدها على عهد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من الموبقات. رواه البخاري وقال الموبقات المهلكات. The first hadith is the words of Hadrat Anas radiallahu anhu. He said, he was speaking to the people at his time, the tabi'een now, by that time. He was saying that you people, you do certain actions that it is smaller, it is thinner, it is lighter in your eyes than a strand of hair. In other words, adaq, he's talking about, like we would say, you consider it to be so unimportant, so minute, but he say we, the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, these deeds that you are thinking nothing about, we used to regard it as the mubiqat. Now, what are the mubiqat? This term mubiqat itself was used by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, as-sab'ul mubiqat, the 7 mubiqat. Mubiqat is plural form, as it says, muhlikat is what it translates as, the 7 destructive sins. All sins are destructive, but in the context when this mubiqat is being used, what types of sins are from the mubiqat? Zina, theft, things of that nature, they are the mubiqat. Now, Hadrat Anas radiallahu anhu, he was saying that there are some things that you people nowadays, how times have changed, that we used to consider these things like, don't even, never even go down that road ever. But today, people have become so lax that you don't even see it as being an issue anymore. Yet that is how serious we used to take it, that it was from the destructive sins. Now, what sin was it, or what sins or actions were it? That is not explained. That Anas radiallahu anhu did not go into detail. Ulama have added on things, not that what it was, but giving examples. You have in today's times, and there are many sins that have become normalized. You can take one example one person gave is that in business, the more a person can, if you've got a glib tongue, you've got the gift of the gab, you can, spin a story to sell an item, and people think, that you're a real businessman, you're a good person, you know your work. In reality, the Sharia looks down upon that as being cursed actions because you're selling your goods via lies. But people don't see it as being lies. It's like, no, it's the way you advertise and things like this. Yeah, it's intelligence. And people will, in fact, argue for it and against you if you speak out against it. Things of that sort. I can probably think of 1,000 examples of this nature that it just goes over the heads of people like it's nothing. In business, a kafir concept is to sell a product at, for example, $1.99. Whether you're talking rands, dollars, pounds, whatever the case may be. But I'm speaking in the context of rands. We don't have 1 cent. We don't have 2 cents. We don't have 5 cents. But now you're selling it $9.99, $9.98, $9.95. And you still find people, a lot of prices like this. Oh, I'll give it in the context of the $1.99. Why $1.99? The reason is because in the simple-minded people, when they see a price $1.99, they see 1 and they forget 99. So 1 is what registers in their subconscious. So automatically, 1 stands out. It's cheaper than if you advertise it as being 2 rand. That's how kafir concept works. Now the person buys it $1.99. You don't have a cent to give them change. So in reality, you have taken 1 cent from them, which was not yours to take because you agreed upon price was $1.99 and you were now supposed to give a cent change. You didn't give a cent change. You think nothing about it. Society today itself don't think anything about it. But in reality, things should not be that way. A Muslim should be far removed from using false advertising of this nature. You know, like I say, you're not going to even find somebody speaking about a thing like this because it's become so normalized that it's like, why are you making an issue out of nothing? I mean, everybody do it. Everyone understands, you know, you're going to go in the shop, you're going to buy 4 loaves of bread at $10.99 each. Not that you're going to get bread at that cheap, but you're going to buy 4 loaves. And when you reach 5 loaves, okay, at least you have to buy 10 loaves nowadays. If it's 99 cents, then it'll give you a 10-cent back. But I mean, that's how it works. That's how the kafir world, business world works. And everybody's gone down that route. Not everybody, alhamdulillah, not everyone is down that route. But the point is that it's become so normalized, yet in reality, it is a degree of theft. That's what you have actually done. But nobody sees it that way. That's one of a million examples you can think of. But this is what Hadrat Anas radiallahu anhu was saying, is that there are so many things, and as time has gone on, more and more things people have just gone into and or abandoned other things, and nobody think anything about it. In reality, from a Shari'i perspective, it is a very serious thing. So that hadith is Rawahu al-Bukhari. Imam Bukhari rahimahullah reports it, and that's the end of the 4th hadith. Let's move on to the 5th one, which is al-khamisu. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن الله تعالى يغار وغيرة الله تعالى أن يأتي المرء ما حرم الله عليه متفق عليه والغيرة بفتح الغين وأصلها الأنفة. The 5th hadith is reported by Hadrat Abu Huraira radiyallahu anhu from Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who said that verily Allah Ta'ala yagharu, Allah Ta'ala has ghayrah. And the ghayrah of Allah Ta'ala is that a person goes and does that thing which Allah has forbidden upon him. Muttafaqun alayhi, agreed upon, meaning it's reported both by Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim rahimahumullah. He says the word is ghayrah, with a fatha, with a zabr on the ghayn, and the actual meaning, the asl, the original meaning of ghayrah means like anafa. Anafa means like, you know, self-respect, self-honor, you know, things of that nature. Now, many people would have heard the term ghayrah. You know, you would have, especially in the Indo-Pak subcontinent, you'll come often again across the word ghayrah, but the word is actually ghayrah, not ghayrah. So yeah, that's the word ghayrah. Now, people understand the word ghayrah often when it comes to issues such as a man to his wife and things of the sort, which is regarded as protective jealousy is another way to translate it. The reason why it's a difficult word to translate is because English, and being a Western language, does not have a concept such as ghayrah. It's not even like the olden concept of chivalry from a Western perspective. Even chivalry is dead, but I mean, even chivalry did not cover what ghayrah is. So one point here from an aqidah perspective is that when we say that Allah has ghayrah, or that Allah becomes angry, or any of these sort of things, all of these are from the Sifaat of Allah, the qualities of Allah, and we believe in it as is without delving into it. We don't, you know, we do not liken the qualities of Allah to the qualities of creation, not at all. So you may find people translating, which is from a ta'wil perspective, to give it a more understandable meaning. So they would translate as Inna Allah Ta'ala yagharu. They would translate ghayra as becoming angry, which is would fit in with the ta'wil of what exactly is being meant. That verily Allah Ta'ala becomes angry. And the anger of Allah, it comes about as a result when a person does something which Allah has prohibited him from. Allah has made something haram, and now you go in and engage in it. Allah has prohibited it from you for your benefit, not for Allah's benefit. It is for your sake that Allah has prohibited it. But you think you know better than Allah, and you go and you commit that haram. And that angers Allah, because Allah had prohibited, specifically, directly prohibited you from it, yet you go ahead and do it. But anyway, so the word ghayrah today, I think I've got an article, or could have been an audio, whatever. Ghayrah has become a deficiency. No, I think it's an article probably on my blog. But anyway, so today, ghayrah in all its meanings has become something like, what's wrong with this man? Like, you want to be controlling and everything, because that's the way the kafir world looks upon things. But in Islam, ghayrah is one of the most praiseworthy qualities. Shows how far different the Islamic world is from that of kufr. But be that as it may, so I'm going to use the interpreted form for the context of understanding the hadith, that Allah Ta'ala has ghayrah, and we do not delve into what exactly it is. We believe in it as is without modality. But Allah Ta'ala does get angry as well. And the anger too of Allah is something that is beyond our understanding. We accept it as is without delving into it as well. And we can understand things like this. I mean, I always give this example. I think I've given it even here on the radio before, that, you know, in the Western society and the world has told us that in reality, while you may see all these colors around you, in reality there are only three primary colors: red, yellow, and blue. White is the absence of all color, black is mixing all three colors, and every other color that you see around you is made up from these three. So yellow and blue make green, and so on and so on, makes X amount will make all the different colors. So you have three primary colors. And I always tell people, try and imagine having a fourth primary color. The human mind and all the computers in the world cannot comprehend and imagine a fourth primary color. It is beyond the human understanding, because our minds can only picture that which we know. And we only know three primary colors. So what would a fourth primary color look like? You know, they say there are 32 million or however many million colors in reality, of which are made up of three colors. So you can imagine, with such a vast array of hues around you made up of three, so how many millions more would not have happened if you had a fourth primary color? So when your mind cannot comprehend something which Allah has created, how then can you comprehend the creator of all of that? So when Allah has ghayrah, and Allah has anger, and Allah has all of these things, we say we accept it without question and without modality as well. Okay, so yeah, anyway, that Allah Ta'ala does get angry, and when Allah becomes angry is when a person commits that which Allah has prohibited him from. And that's the end of the fifth hadith. Let's do the sixth hadith while there is still time. Fifth hadith, which is hadith number sixth hadith at least, which is hadith number 65. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أنه سمع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إن ثلاثة من بني إسرائيل أبرص وأقرع وأعمى. Okay, lengthy hadith this one, not very lengthy, but quite a lengthy hadith nonetheless. I remember this hadith from Maktab days, you know, when you come to Beheshti Zewar and you're doing Dusri Kahani. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ne ek martaba farmaya ke Bani Israel mein teen aadmi the, as Dusri Kahani start out, and that Urdu kahani that you are reading there is in reality the same hadith that you see in front of you here today. So this sixth hadith, Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrates that he heard Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam saying that in Bani Israel there were three people: Abras, wa aqra' wa a'ma, a leper, a bald person, not a bald. You know, a lot of people have this common mistake where they say a person who's lost his hair is bald. The word is bald. So a leper, a bald man, and a blind man. أراد الله أن يبتليهم. Allah Ta'ala intended to test them. فبعث إليهم ملكا. So Allah sent an angel to them. The angel came in the form of a man, obviously. فأتى الأبرص فقال أي شيء أحب إليك. So the angel came to the leper first, and he asked the leper, what is the most beloved thing to you? In other words, if you could have anything in the world, what would it be? قال لون حسن وجلد حسن ويذهب عني هذا الذي قد قذرني الناس. The leper said, I would like to have a good color, because obviously if you've got leprosy, your skin color is not normal. وجلد حسن, I would also like to have nice skin. Right now my flesh is rotting and falling off, so I would like to have nice skin again. And ويذهب عني, and that this هذا الذي قد قذرني. قذر means that people regard me as being dirty, because obviously when you have leprosy and your skin is rotting, you're going to get the smell of rot as well, so it has a bad smell. So people are like, apart from the fact that they feel they're going to get leprosy from the person, they also say, like, you stink, get away from here. So nobody wants to be around him. So the man said, I would like to have a good color and a good skin, and that this illness that I am afflicted with, that people regard me as dirty, I would like it to be gone. فمسحه فذهب عنه قدره وأعطي لونا حسنا. So the angel passed his hand over this man, and all of this, the leprosy disappeared instantly, and he got good skin. The flesh which had rotted, that had come back. The flesh had come back. Everything was back in order, and he had a good color now, complexion, everything was good. He was in tip-top shape. قال فأي المال أحب إليك. Now the angel asked him, what wealth is most beloved to you? In other words, now you're in good health now, but obviously health is only half of the deal. Everybody needs wealth to survive. So what wealth, like in today's time, what job would you like that would bring you in money and things like this? What is your dream job, as we would say? So what wealth is most beloved to you? قال الإبل أو قال البقر. شك الراوي. The angel asked him, what is the most beloved wealth to you? So the man said, camels, or he could have said cattle. The Rawi, the narrator, is unsure which one exactly it is that the man had said. فأعطي ناقة عشراء فقال بارك الله لك فيها. So he was given a pregnant camel that gave birth now to many other camels. And the angel made a dua, بارك الله لك فيها. May Allah put barakah in it for you. فأتى الأقرع. Now the story of the leper is gone. His leprosy was removed. He was put in, so to say, from being the lowest of the low to being a big person in society. He's now good looking, perfect in body and strength and health, and he's rich as well. What more can you want? So he was taken care of, and the angel moved on. So فأتى الأقرع. فقال أي شيء أحب إليك. The angel now came to the bald man, and he said, what is the thing that you most desire? قال شعر حسن ويذهب عني هذا الذي قدرني الناس. He says, I would like to have nice hair. And now each one of these people, they did not know about the other. They were not even in the same place, that you can say he saw this happening. So he was also, I want the same. So his deepest desire was, I want to have nice hair also. I used to have hair. Now some illness or whatever it was caused it to fall out, and now I'm bald. So I would like to have nice hair. And this ailment which I am afflicted with, that people regard me as, they find fault, and it's like nobody want to be near me because I'm bald. Not that it's where everybody. Let's put it this way: if you are prematurely bald, and we see this in the world today as well, that if a person is in his teens, his early 20s, and is going bald, there's 110 different procedures, hair transplants, and everything. And people have all sorts of complexes because of losing their hair at that age. So this man was saying that on account of the fact that I lost my hair, people are like, they laugh at me and things like this. So, I've become a joke. I don't want this baldness anymore. I would like to have nice hair and, can fit in society once again, in other words. فمسحه فذهب عنه وأعطي شعرا حسنا. So the angel passed his hand over this man, and his hair suddenly returned, and he was given nice hair as well. قال فأي المال أحب إليك. Now the angel asked him, what wealth is most beloved to you? What would you like? قال البقر فأعطي بقرة حاملا وقال بارك الله لك فيها. So the bald man, he said, I like cattle, I like my cows and stuff like this here. So he was granted a pregnant cow, and the dua was made for him as well, that may Allah put barakah in it for you. فأتى الأعمى. Now the angel moved away. This man was also settled. He had wealth, and his pregnant cow gave birth to many others. So he was like a big man. He had his whole cattle ranch over there and all that sort of stuff. So he was settled in life, and the angel moved on. فأتى الأعمى. فقال أي شيء أحب إليك. He came to the blind man now, and he said, what is the most beloved thing to you? What's your deepest desire? قال أن يرد الله إلي بصري فأبصر الناس. The blind person, he said, The thing that I most wish for and desire is that Allah returns my sight so that I can see people again. فَمَسَحَهُ فَرَدَّ اللَّهُ إِلَيْهِ بَصَرَهُ. So the angel passed his hand over this man, and Allah returned his sight to him. قال فأي المال أحب إليك. So now the angel asked him, and what wealth is the most beloved to you? What if you can have any sort of wealth, what would you like? What job would you want to do? قال الغنم فأعطي شاة والدا فأنتج هذان وولد هذا. Okay, so he says that the person said, I like sheep. So the first one liked camels, the second one liked cattle, the third one liked sheep. So he was given a pregnant sheep, and the sheep gave birth and gave there was a lot of sheep now. So فكان لهذا وادي من الإبل ولهذا وادي من البقر ولهذا وادي من الغنم. So each of these pregnant animals, that the pregnant camel, the pregnant cow, and the pregnant sheep, all of them gave birth. So much so that with the dua of barakah as well, that the man who was sitting with a camel ended up with a valley full of camels. The man who was sitting with a pregnant cow sat with a valley full of cows, and the man who was here with the sheep, he was settled with a valley full of sheep. ثم إنه أتى الأبرص في صورته وهيئته. Now time passed. Obviously, for that amount of for you to fill a valley full of animals, obviously some time would have passed by. So time went on, and later on the angel came not in the same form as what he originally came to the person in. So he came to him. How? He came to the leper first. في صورته وهيئته. He came to the leper in the looking like how the leper used to look. He came in the form of a leper, like how he once was. فقال رجل مسكين قد انقطعت بي الحبال حبال في سفري فلا بلاغ لي اليوم إلا بالله ثم بك أسألك بالذي أعطاك اللون الحسن والجلد الحسن والمال بعيرا أتبلغ به في سفري. فقال الحقوق كثيرة. فقال كأني أعرفك ألم تكن أبرص يقدرك. Okay, let's do it portion for portion. So the angel came to him and he said, I'm a poor man. By means of being able to travel, it's run out. I'm like destitute. I have nothing to be able to continue on my journey. I have no recourse except today, except to Allah, and then after asking Allah, I have to ask you as well, because I ask you by that being that had granted you a good complexion and good skin and wealth. I ask you for a camel that I can use on my journey. So the leper, the ex-leper now, he said, Al-Huququ Kasiratu. Oh, and we heard this so often today. Times are tough. Business is bad. I got a lot of things to take care of. I got a lot of rights to look after. So, in other words, I can't help you. I got so many things to do. I can't spare a camel for you. فقالت, so the angel said, كأني أعرفك. I think I recognize you. ألم تكن أبرص يقدرك الناس فقيرا فأعطاك الله. فقال إنما ورثت هذا المال كابرا عن كابرين. So the angel told him, I think it's as if I recognize you. Were you not a leper? And people used to regard you as being dirty and things like that. A poor man, and Allah gave you all of this. So the ex-leper, he said that I inherited all of this wealth, generation to generation. I'm old money, as the term would go. I got this from generations. Where you come from that you claim I was a poor leper going around here? I had this all the time. فقال إن كنت كاذبا في دعواك فصيرك الله إلى ما كنت. So the angel said the following words: if you are lying in your claim that you had gotten this all the time and that you were never a leper like this and a poor man, then may Allah return you to what you once were. And then he moved on his way. He came now to the ex-bald man وأتى الأقرع في صورته وهيئته فقال له مثل ما قال لهذا ورد عليه مثل ما رد هذا. So now the angel came to the bald man in the form that the bald man once was. He came now in a bald state, and he's a poor old bald man, not old, but I mean, as a poor bald man. So he came to him and he said the same thing, I'm destitute, I need just a cow from you, so that I can carry on my journey. And he told him, oh, times are tough. I have a lot of things to take care of. I can't spare you a cow. فقال إن كنت كاذبا, and of course the whole thing, were you not a bald man and Allah returned your hair? And he's like, what? I had this hair, wait, look at this hair. It's been here all the time. I've had all this wealth also, nothing of this that you are talking about. So the angel told him, إن كنت كاذبا فصيرك الله إلى ما كنت. If you are lying about this, that you weren't a bald man and you weren't poor and Allah had given you all this, then may Allah return you back to how you once were, because you claim you weren't like that. If you were telling the truth, so be it, but if you are lying, then may Allah return you how you once were. He moved on. The angel now moved on. وَأَتَى الْأَعْمَى فِي صُورَتِهِ وَهَيْئَتِهِ. Now lastly he came to the ex-blind man in the shape of the blind man, as a poor blind man. فقال رجل مسكين وابن سبيل انقطعت بي الحبال في سفري فلا بلاغ لي اليوم إلا بالله ثم بك أسألك بالذي رد عليك بصرك شاة أتبلغ بها في سفري. So he told the ex-blind man that I'm a poor man, I'm a wayfarer, I've run out of means to be able to continue my journey, and I have no recourse today except to ask Allah, and then thereafter ask you as well. I ask you by that Allah that had returned your sight, I ask you for one sheep that will allow me to continue my journey and return home. In other words, فقال قد كنت أعمى فرد الله إلي بصري. The ex-blind man, he spoke up from his side first. He said, I used to be blind and Allah returned my sight. You see the words the angel said, I ask you by the one that returned your eyesight. Like he said to the others, I ask you by the one that returned you to this good complexion, and I ask you by the one that gave you this good hair. So he said, he didn't say, I'm an angel, I remember you, nothing like that. Just I ask you by the one that had returned your eyesight. And this man was unlike the other two. He said, I used to be blind and Allah returned my eyesight to me. فَخُذْ مَا شِئْتَ وَدَعْ مَا شِئْتَ فَوَاللَّهِ مَا أَجْهَدُكَ الْيَوْمِ بِشَيْءٍ أَخَذْتَهُ لِلَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَ. So the ex-blind man, he told this angel, because obviously none of the three of them knew that this was an angel. So he said, I used to be blind and Allah returned my sight. So now take whatever you want, and whatever you don't want, leave it. In other words, you see the whole valley of sheep, as much as you want, you are free to take it. Because wallah, I take an oath by Allah, I will not find a problem with you, no matter what you take. I'm giving the broken down translation, that I will not find a problem with you, no matter how much of my wealth it is that you take today. Whatever you take for the sake of Allah, I'm happy to give it for the sake of Allah. I will not, you're taking so much, I won't have an issue. As much as you want, take it. You're more than welcome. فقال أمسك مالك فإنما ابتليتم فقد رضي الله عنك وسخط على صاحبيك. So the angel now spoke up to this man. He said, keep your wealth, because this was simply a test for the three of you. Allah is pleased with you and Allah is angry with your two companions. Like I say, they weren't exactly friends next to each other over there, but what it means is that there were three people that Allah had tested. Two of them failed the test. This one passed the test because he was grateful for the favors that Allah had favored him with, and he attributed it to Allah. Obviously, each of them knew it was a miracle, but the other two got so full of themselves that they attributed it eventually to themselves, and they forgot about the fact that Allah had brought them to this state. So this one, he was grateful till this time of his life to Allah for having turned his life around, given him his sight and given him wealth as well. So, Allah gave me all of this. So whatever you want for the sake of Allah, you're more than welcome to take it. And it was that, being pleased with and being grateful to Allah that that made it that Allah was pleased with him, and the other two who rejected the fact that Allah had given them all these bounties, they attributed it to themselves instead. They earned the wrath of Allah. Muttafaqun alayh. Hadith is reported both in Bukhari and Muslim. He says والناقة العشراء بضم العين وفتح الشين هي الحامل وقوله لا أجهلك معناه لا أشق عليك في رد شيء تأخذه أو تطلبه من مالي. He says the ناقة العشراء is simply translated as a pregnant camel, which I did say in the beginning. And la ajhaduka, like I said, I gave the broken down translation, so not breaking word for word, but it means I will not find a problem with you or not force you to return anything of my wealth that you take or that you seek to take from my wealth today. I won't have a problem with it. That's the end of the 6th hadith. A lengthy hadith, and we'll stop on this point here, inshallah, because our time has run out. We managed to do another 3 hadith this week, 3 last week and 3 this week. But lengthy hadith, these are hadith are not stories. You may have read it as Dusri Kahani, but it's very far from being a mere story. It is a reality that Allah had tested people. It's not Allah do not send such tests on people today to such a degree, but tests come in many different ways. And what is important is that we always, at the end of the day, realize that everything that is going good for us comes from Allah. You may have been driving a cheap car, faulty, sometimes give problems and things, and Allah turns things around for you. Your job pays better, something or the other changes. You have a nicer car, you got a better job, you got this, you got that. Things start opening for you. You start having money. Do not come and say it is because of my hard work, because of me, because of me, because of me. It is because of Allah that all of this has come to you. So nobody's even asking that you must give all your wealth and everything out in sadaqah. Not at all. But what is important is to note is that everything at the end of the day came from Allah. And as we say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Verily, we come from Allah. We are from Allah, and to Allah we shall return. Allah has given us life, and Allah will take our lives at the end of the day too. That is where we came from. That is where we are going back to. Minha khalaqnakum wa fiha nu'idukum wa minha nukhrijukum taratan ukhra. From this earth, Allah had created you. To this earth you will be returned, and from this earth Allah will resurrect you once again. Once again, keeping in mind that everything comes from Allah, and gratitude should always be shown to Allah, and a person should never lose sight of the fact that you were once a poor man having nothing to eat, and today you are a multi-millionaire. The world is falling at your feet. Do not get bogged down and chase after the dunya and make the dunya your goal, when in reality all of this that you have today is only as a result of the favor of Allah upon you, not because of my hard work or your hard work, whether it be money, whether it be knowledge, whether it be whatever it may be, skills, anything, talent, whatever. Everything comes from Allah at the end of the day. And if we lose sight of the fact that it is all from Allah and we start attributing things to ourselves, it leads us down the path of ingratitude. And Allah tells us, لئن شكرتم لأزيدنكم ولئن كفرتم إن عذابي لشديد. If you are grateful, I will increase it for you. But if you are ungrateful, my punishment is severe. So be grateful for all the favors that Allah has given myself and yourselves, and let us be grateful for everything, because sometimes we may overlook the many favors that Allah has given us. You have children, you have a spouse, you have a house, you have a car, you have a job, you have a means to have a plate of food on your table every day. For many people in the world, they don't have that. That's a luxury for them. So, Alhamdulillah alladhi faddalani ala kathiri mimman khalaqa tafdila. One of the du'as a person should recite. All praise is due to Allah who has favored me over much of the creation that He had created. So, long story short, what I'm trying to say is that the point of the hadith was once again relating to muraqabah. The two forgot the fact that Allah is always watching, and they forgot and lost sight of the fact that Allah is the one who had granted it. So their minds shifted from Allah to their own nafs and their own self and their own self-importance. So they passed, let me put it that use the word past. They failed the test that Allah had given them, and as a result, they failed it because of losing muraqabah. The third person had always the presence of mind that I have the sight today only because Allah had given it to me. I have this wealth today only because Allah had given it to me. And because of his muraqabah, that presence of mind that Allah is the cause and the doer of all of this, he passed the test on account of that muraqabah. And that is how this hadith links to this chapter. And that being that, we stop on this point here, inshallah. We on the end, we've completed page 49, which is 65 ahadith thus far, and inshallah ta'ala, we end on this point here. Next week, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, we can continue on from hadith number 66. Okay, when will this recording be uploaded? I actually upload the class straight away after class itself, but it tends to take a bit of a while with converting and uploading. So right now it should be 8:07 in the UK. So say at the absolute latest, in 1 hour's time, the recording will be uploaded on YouTube, and it will be in the Darul channel on YouTube in the Riyaadhus Saaliheen playlist. Or you can just simply look latest video uploaded and it will be there, inshallah ta'ala. But yeah, so we'll stop on this point here, inshallah ta'ala. Until next week, we end for now when we say, وَصَلَّى اللَّهُ وَسَلَّمَ وَبَارَكَ عَلَى نَبِيِّنَا مُحَمَّدٍ سُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ وَبِحَمْدِهِ سُبْحَانَكَ اللَّهُمَّ وَبِحَمْدِكَ نَشْهَدُ أَن لَّا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ نَسْتَغْفِرُكَ وَنَتُوبُ إِلَيْكَ وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ وَبَرَكَاتُهُ.